Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach, no, it's the other channel. I'm like a robot when it comes. As soon as I hear the claps, I'm just like, Sold Not For Sale podcast. This is Coach Colin News or the Coach Colin Show. Tell me what I should call it, because I'm not going to just talk about news all the time. I'm also going to talk about culture. I'm going to talk about different things. Should I just call it the Coach Colin Show? Let's just go with that for now. Anyways, guys, Pete Hegseth is on a rampage. He is trying to keep up with Trump right now. Trump has had this historic week as a president, a little over a week. And Pete's like, just hold on, let me catch up. I got you, Mr. President. Hold on a sec. I'm one step behind you. Don't even worry about it. It's wild what he's doing. First, let's just start with this great news here.
We begin with action taken against a single former federal worker, retired chair of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley. Overnight, the Pentagon revoked his security detail and his security clearance. In addition, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the Inspector General to launch an investigation into Milley's conduct. This could lead to an eventual demotion, even in retirement. Why? Well, General Milley, who was initially nominated by Trump himself, is seen to have stood up to him, including following the insurrection. Trump later suggested it was treasonous, that it, quote, times gone by, the punishment would have been death. This morning, it does seem the president is getting his retribution. Let's get right to CNN's Oren Lieberman at the Pentagon with these overnight moves. Good morning, Oren.
Good morning, John. President Donald Trump has long had it out for General Mark Milley, and this through his new defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, on his second day at the job. Looks like it's part of that getting back at him. Hegseth and the Pentagon put out a statement late last night saying that he'd ordered that his security detail and security clearance be removed. Milley has had a security detail ever since the U.S. assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Milley was one of those under threat from the Iranians, as were several other former Trump administration officials. Milley has also been more openly critical of Trump, calling him a fascist, and in this final speech as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, offering this barely veiled criticism of Trump.
We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator, and we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America, and we're willing to die to protect it.
Yeah, he's a liar, and no one believes him, especially in that speech. Joe Biden especially doesn't believe him, just dead asleep, just sucking on his thumb, just like my baby who's asleep right now, just Oh, man. All right, let's keep going. I'm sorry I interrupted.
We have reached out to Milley for comment. It's also worth noting that Milley is not the only former Trump administration official who's had his security detail and clearance revoked. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo, and others have been through the same thing.
We should note, Oren, I do believe that General Milley was one of the people who received a preemptive pardon from outgoing President Biden. So this Inspector General investigation, what could that lead to?
Milley did receive a pardon in the final hours of the Biden administration. Now, that protects him from criminal prosecution and prosecution under military law. So there isn't that much in the legal perspective that you can go after him for because of that pardon. But this Inspector General investigation could try to strip Milley of rank, try to demote him after his retirement and his more than 40 years in the service. The question is, what is the conduct here that's questionable? And that was not offered in the statement. No rationale was given. Trump and others have tried to go after Milley for a pair of phone calls with his Chinese counterpart in the closing months of the first Trump administration. Trump even posted on Truth Social that it would have been, those calls were treasonous and would have been a reason for a death penalty in earlier times. Milley has testified openly about those, and they were coordinated with the secretaries of defense and the national security agencies. They could also try to go after him for the Afghanistan withdrawal, but John, it's worth remembering that Milley opposed that withdrawal, and it was only carried out because first Trump and then Biden ordered it.
These are important.
That's amazing to put that on Trump. That's glorious. Only somebody who literally has an office in the Pentagon would actually look at you and say, a guy who has an office in the Pentagon, this guy right here, that is only something that guy would say while he's in the Pentagon. Just like, you can believe me, I'm trustworthy. Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, let me tell you something. If this studio is ever in the Pentagon, unsubscribe. Don't listen to me anymore. If I have an office in the Pentagon, that's done. Forget about me. That's it. I don't care if I'm funny. I'm out. I'm done, man. Don't. You kidding me right now? I would be afraid. Do you know how scared I would be if I got invited to the Pentagon? I'd be like, oh, that's it. That's it. They're gonna release a clone that has freckles. He's gonna look a little different. And he's gonna be like, hey guys, I just really think, don't we miss Joe Biden? Oh my God. I'd be so scared. I'd never go. Maybe if Trump asked me. If Trump asked me, I'd be like, oh, I can't say no to the president. That'd be disrespectful. But I'd be scared. Oh my gosh. I'd tell my wife, I'd be like, there's a passcode. This is the passcode. I would tell her a certain phrase. I'd be like, if I don't say that when I get back, run. Take the kids and run. Just, you don't find that odd? I find that odd. I don't know. Maybe it's normal for mainstream media to have offices in the Pentagon. I don't know. That seems weird to me. Let me know if I'm off on that. But, I just play that first clip to show he's off to a great start, this Hegseth. This is incredible. Takes away Milley's security clearance, which was $12 million a year. Takes that away, under investigation, because he was a part of the Afghanistan pullout. There's various other things that he did as well. And, all in all, if you didn't do anything wrong, should be fine, right? You should be okay. And Trump's the fascist. He's not, right? Trump was the one who did all the wrong things. He didn't. He should be okay. We'll see. Like Fauci. Fauci didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. He'll be fine. Takes away security clearance. He's just doing all sorts of stuff. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're not done here yet, guys. You think I was just going to show you that? Breaking news. Pete Hegseth announces that military departments will no longer use resources for celebrations or events related to Cultural Awareness Month. Now, I had another clip to play, but yeah, let's just get a little... No. Let's just jump into that really quick. No. You know what? I'll just stay here. But he's doing that, and I'll let you know what that means in a second. But also, he handled this. This is directly from Pete himself. He said, we looked into this, and it's real. This is a result of deferred maintenance under the last administration. My staff is prioritizing fixing this, and under this president, our troops will only receive the best care. Now, look at this place. The flooding inside Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. Look at this place. Look, first off, it's flooded. You can't tell. It's flooded like maybe that much, but flooded nonetheless. Look at this. It looks like a deserted place, but it's not. Check this out. Guys really do too much with the music in their videos, man. Only on X do you see stuff like that. It's like, relax. Like, just play the video. Trust me. People don't mind that much. I'm just going to talk instead of playing that crazy music. But look at this place. There's water everywhere. What you're seeing on the ground is pieces of the ceiling. And this is meant for vets, for active military. This is the medical center. Like, what is this? It's just been sitting here like this. No one thought to take care of this. It's not like Pete's the first Secretary of Defense in 4 years. There was another one. There was a whole other administration. They've just allowed it to sit here like this. It's disgusting. Now, Pete's saying that they're prioritizing it. They're going to be fixing it. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Definitely have to hold them to that, because that's just unacceptable. Now I gotta get into the stuff that I really like. Look at this. This is also what he's doing. Pete Hegseth officially canceled National African American / Black History Month, Women's History Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. What? Who is that? Who's that for? National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, too many letters, and National American Indian Heritage Month. Americans are now going to just celebrate the 4th of July. One nation, one celebration. And that's how it should be. Amazing. He just got in and just started regulating. You know, I can't even hold it back. I want to talk about this now because it's so good. It's so good. So basically, you know, it says here as well, this is Pete Hegseth here. They're really trying to hound the fact that it's, oh, he's getting rid of black. They're going to try and position this like he's racist, of course. They're going to focus on Black History Month. He ordered the Department of Defense to cease resourcing identity months as Black History Month. So basically, he just wants guys in the Army to not celebrate all this, to not be taking the time to think about all this stuff. And honestly, that makes perfect sense. If you want to do that outside, you know, you're not actually in uniform, you're at home and you want to celebrate that, that's fine. Fine. You want to celebrate Black History Month, you know what I mean? Do it. Do it up. Cornbread, whatever you do. I don't know. I don't really celebrate Black History Month. My mom didn't really raise me like that. If you can't tell, I don't know. I didn't have that type of upbringing, but you know, celebrate whatever you want. National Pacific Islander Month, you know, National Guy I Met Yesterday at the Store Month, Person that I like, Blonde Hair Person Month, Nose Ring Guy Month, you know, whatever it is, celebrate it, have fun. But he doesn't want that to be happy. He doesn't want the people who are in the Army, who are in the military, they should not be distracted with this. They should not have to bow down to all of this, you know, and I think that's solid. I think that's what you need to do. You know, I'm not comparing me at all to guys who are in the armed forces at all, but I am a part of a union. There's a film union for guys who are behind the scenes, who work the lights, who do grip work, who work electric and stuff like that. It's IATSE, and I'm a part of this union. And I still constantly get emails about inclusion week and inclusion workshops and all this nonsense. And it takes so much. There's so much to learn when you're working behind the scenes in film. And then on top of it, you have to have all this stuff. It's just a distraction. You don't need to be distracted with this stuff. So I love that he did this. I mean, be prepared. He's going to be branded as a racist for sure, but I'm sure he knows that already. But it hasn't stopped here. Well, I guess she's just talking about General Milley. MSNBC is very upset about General Milley. It's really interesting. You know I'm a crazy person when I say that there seems to be a connection between the Dems and mainstream media. But they're awfully sad about General Milley. I've never seen them so sad about a general before. It's almost like there's some kind of alliance there. So weird. That can't be true, though. You know, I'm just saying things.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, in short order, is exacting Donald Trump's revenge on retired four-star general, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. Quote, removing his security detail, revoking his security clearance, and ordering an inspector general inquiry into his record. Viewers of this program remember all too well that General Milley was a frequent target of Donald Trump's rage and deranged rants that included, quote, suggesting that General Milley had committed treason and should be put to death, end quote. In part because of public threats like that, threats that sound like they're straight out of North Korea or Russia. Quote, General Milley received a preemptive pardon from President Biden.
I love the fact that MSNBC just said that. They just said that Donald Trump said that he should be put to death, right? Yeah, it's right there. That's what they're saying. That's what they're running with. And over here with CNN, they didn't line up their story quite the same way because they actually told the truth. And what he actually said is, in times gone by, the punishment would have been death. Very interesting how, and that's why I love to pull clips from other states, from various places, because you can literally see MSNBC, they're lying. They're putting that, what they're trying to do right here is they're trying to show you this like it's ripped out of a piece of paper, like it's truly a quote from what he said. That's what they're trying to do there. But in reality, what he said was this. He was just saying, with what he did in other times, this is what would have happened to him. He wasn't actually suggesting that anything should happen to him. He was just saying, he's like, look, what he did, back in the day, this is what would have been done. That's it. It's funny how they get caught lying, but this is not all Pete Hegseth has done, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Hegseth, he was just like, listen, guys, at his confirmation here, he's like, I'm sorry about the infidelity. I don't drink anymore. I didn't do those things. I'm just going to make sure that the Army does what it's supposed to do. That's all. I'm going to be real good. And they were just like, sir, you're confirmed. He's like, what? I'm confirmed? Now? I'm eliminating Black History Month. I'm eliminating all the months. You are Americans now. I'm painting the walls gray. You are servicemen. We're not doing this anymore. Push-ups. Everyone. 1,000 push-ups. Let's go. I'm leading. Let's do this. I love it. I love how he just got in and just starts, because it shows that he's staying really by his word. If you watch him on Sean Ryan's podcast, he was talking about doing all of this. All of this. He had so many things in mind. He's like, get rid of the woke stuff. I imagine pretty soon he's going to announce that he doesn't want women in combat positions anymore, because that was something that he focused on. But you can tell, man of his word. He said, this is what I'm going to do if I get in this position. This is what I think needs to be done in this position. He gets into the position and he immediately starts doing what he said. Man of his word. Solid.
The drug cartels have been declared terrorist organizations. And if you find that, and we know if there's Al-Qaeda, we're going to hit them. I don't care if you're in Somalia, Sudan, or in Syria. If we find that they continue to fire at our border control and they continue to put fentanyl into our country, as the Secretary of Defense, are you permitted now to go after them in Mexico or wherever they are?
Brian, I don't want to get ahead of the president, and I won't. That's ultimately going to be his decision. But let me be clear, all options will be on the table. If we're dealing with what are designated to be foreign terrorist organizations who are specifically targeting Americans on our border, and we're finally securing our border. We've been securing other people's border for a very long time. The military is shifting toward an understanding of homeland defense on our sovereign territorial border. That is something we will do and do robustly. So we're already...
The drug cartels have been declared...
Mr. Hegseth, you've been confirmed. Really? First order of business, I want to attack the cartels. Can I get 4,000 men to the cartels? They shot at us. I want you guys to shoot back immediately. Do we have any carpet bombs? Who has the carpet bombs? Who's the carpet bomb guy here? Kidding, of course, but he's 100% right. Trump has designated them as a terrorist organization. You have to respond as though they're a terrorist organization, especially when they act awfully like one and start shooting at Border Patrol. I guess that's it. You know, on my other channel, my main channel, I did an episode where Joe Rogan was talking with Evan Haffer of Black Rifle Coffee. I think that's how you say his name. And they were talking about Delta Force and Delta Force versus the cartel and who would come out on top. Delta Force and the Green Berets versus the cartel, who would come out on top. And Evan was like, you give it a good, few weeks, this problem would be like just annihilated. And it doesn't seem like that's possible. But if now they're terrorists and they're shooting at Americans, that might end up, like Pete just said, all options on the table. I can only imagine what that ends up looking like. But also, you got to feel for all the border towns. I'm far from the border. I'm not close to the border, but I am in a state that is meeting up with the border. I go to Arizona quite a bit, and you gotta feel for those people that are in those border towns, because when it starts getting hot like this with what's about to happen, because I think something's going to pop off in the next few weeks, you got to feel for those people, because it's gonna get iffy, and Lord help those cartel members if they hit one American civilian. Ooh, that's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. It's going to be really, really bad, especially with Pete in place now. Look, this is the face of a guy that's not playing around. He just, again, came right in. Another thing he did, Pete Hegseth just kicked out the New York Times, NBC, NPR, and Politico out of their Pentagon press offices and gave their space to the New York Post, Breitbart, OANN, and HuffPost. Now, I love this. I love the booting out of these people. Why do these places have press offices in the Pentagon? I don't know. Am I thinking of journalists like the 1950s? Like they walk in, Tucker Carlson walks in with a hat and says, "I have a few questions for you gentlemen here." Oh, and then he just leaves. They have offices now. They just sit back, and you can't be in the office. Matt Taibbi, he's a great journalist. He once said, he's the guy that broke the Twitter files. He said when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he was like, there's supposed to be tension between you and the people in power when you're a journalist. It's not, you're supposed to be able to be civil. You can even, be chummy a little bit. You see that a lot with Peter Doocy and Corinne Pierre Jean, whatever her name is. She's gone now. They were chummy at times. Even when she left, they had actually a pretty nice, friendly, very friendly moment, and you could have that. But it's not supposed to be to the point where you can't see the difference between them. And I feel like when the press is setting up offices around the people who they're supposed to be putting pressure to and getting answers for the American people, I don't know. Something about that just seems so weird. And I'll be honest, you guys know me. I listen, a lot of you are new on here. You don't follow the main channel. I wear a tinfoil Speedo all the time. And let me tell you something, my tinfoil Speedo, I'm not going to trust the New York Times. This is just me. I'm not saying you can trust them. Great outlets, fantastic outlets. You should hear what the New York Times wrote about, the Constitution being, dangerous. NBC, NPR, Politico, they have offices in the Pentagon. Well, I'm not going to trust those outlets. And I have to say, New York Post, Breitbart, OANN, and HuffPost, they also have, now they have offices in the Pentagon. And I'm going to be wary when I read their stuff. I think that's really odd. Anytime they have something to say about the Pentagon, I want to just say I'm not going to trust them. Listen, why mince my words? I'm not trusting anybody that has an office in the Pentagon. There you go. There, I said it. Fine. I like New York Post and everything. I think they do great work, but I just find it so weird. Does nobody else find it weird? Let me play another clip. This guy's on a rampage, like I said.
With DEI, how's that going at the Defense? What's happening with DEI? How's that going at the Defense Department?
Well, DEI is not going well at the Defense Department because it's dead. We will, as the president said in his inaugural, we will be merit-based and colorblind, and that is the case at the Defense Department. DEI is going to be ripped out root and branch because we want everyone treated equally with high standards and held accountable with warfighting, lethality, and readiness front and center. We don't have time for emphasizing differences. Jesse, one of the dumbest phrases in military history is our diversity is our strength. Our diversity is not our strength. Our unity and our shared purpose is our strength. And the Pentagon is excited to get back to that core mission. It's happening rapidly. The services are responding, and those that don't want to respond can work somewhere else. So diversity, equity, inclusion will not be a part of the Defense Department, not a minute long.
What's that?
Amazing. Amazing. This guy came in swinging. He literally ordered them to take down General Milley's pictures. Like, he has a portrait. They all get like a painted portrait. They're just taking his down. They're just painting. They're just painting over the spot. You know? Like, that's really happening right now. This guy is he's great. He's great. I knew he was going to be a great confirmation just by the way they were going after him, you know? Especially a guy that has tattooed "We the People" on him. Just amazing. You know, I knew he was going to be great, but he's going after it. The same way you're seeing Trump with this new type of vigor where it's just like, he's just nonstop. Like, he did another video where he's signing a bunch of stuff and he was answering questions at the same time. It's just Pete's going for that same type of speed, and it's amazing to see. You know, again, I could care less for my whole lifetime about who the Secretary of Defense is, but I have to say I like this one. You know what I mean? I'm not blind. If he does something terrible, I'll still know. I'm not blinded by it. I'm not in love with the guy. I'm not married to him or anything. But for right now, the things that he's doing, and just the fact that I know he said he was going to do this and now he's doing it. He's showing himself to be a man of his word. He's showing himself to be a patriot. He's showing himself to actually have in mind the people in defense need to just be focused on that. And we can't have all these little hurdles of virtue signaling, and we can't have all that. He's just like, push all that away and just have them focused on that. People don't understand. This is going to drive up recruitment like crazy, because all of a sudden, and I'm sure they're not saying it out loud, but, you know, there used to be a recruiter who was a drag queen. He was a Navy SEAL. He was a Navy recruiter. It didn't even make sense. I don't even have an issue with drag. It just didn't make any sense. You're trying to recruit people for this super ultra masculine role, and you're doing it showing them that you dress like a woman. It just didn't make any sense. It made no sense. That's probably not going to be a thing anymore. And I'm not saying that dude should get kicked out of the Army or get kicked out of the Navy. I'm not saying that, but they just don't need that. It's going to be a different style of recruiting, and they're going to start getting back the people who they've lost. Because let me tell you something, you're not going to get those good old boys from Arkansas and Texas and Oklahoma who've been enlisting for year after year because, you know, legacy and love of country. You lose those guys when you do that woke stuff. This is an opportunity to get them all back, and then some, because there's a lot of young black men, a lot of young people of color who don't want to be seen as people of color. They don't want to be, and I'm not saying they don't think of themselves as black, but they want to be seen for their ability, you know? I don't want somebody in any role to say, well, not enough black people in here. Come on in. I don't want that. You know what I mean? You want someone to be like, you know what? I think you have the ability. You're showing great ability. I think you could be the best of the best. I think you have the makeup for that. And that's why I want you in here with the rest of us. That's what you want to hear. I've seen what you've done. Your merit, you're exceptional. Get in here with us. That's what you want to hear, especially as a young man. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear, well, based on your color and the fact that you're Asian and German, half of you can come in, but the other half has to wait outside. It is nonsense. It's just silly. It's just silliness. And I'm so glad that it has the opportunity to stop now. Anyways, guys, he's on a rampage. I can't wait to see what else he does. Yeah, I can't wait for it, man. You know, listen, celebrate Black History Month on your own time. I love how they made this picture Black History Month. I love, if I don't show you the caption to this, you're just seeing Pete Hegseth's head next to Black History. the new inclusive face of Black History Month. Pete's standing there. I identify as a black man. This is my month. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. And, right now it's February 1st. Oh, it's Black History Month. Not for the guys. Not for the guys that are under Pete. Not for you. It's not Black History Month for you. The rest of us are going to celebrate. We're going to go out and get chicken. I'm kidding. Come on. Everybody loves chicken. Everybody does. Jeez. You kidding me? Been in Texas. The whitest people fry the best chicken so far that I've encountered. Come on. All right, let me get out of here before I say something terrible. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. And I have a main channel, link in the description. Hit up both, because you can see some Rogan stuff over there where I'm talking about just Rogan stuff and everything that he talks about, going deep into the subjects he talks about. And then you come over here, you're going to get some culture, you're going to get some news. Both of them together, you'll be stacked up for videos the whole week through. I'm out.